Well, I'm not sure why the Brazilians were complaining there. There was a dig and a set, and then a spike, and Cuba goes up 10-7.
And there you have it, Brazil leading 1-0. So, could we see an upset? It wouldn't be a huge upset. Brazil possibly the second best team in the world. But Cuba has fancied in the women's volleyball as the United States in both men's and women's basketball.
They watch the Cuban women's team play. I have a feeling that against the lesser fancied men's volleyball teams, they would probably be able to give them a run for their money.
So they would. They've certainly got not that much shorter. So there's the first set score. Brazil thrashing Cuba 15-5, and that really is a thrashing if you're playing the top team in the world. Yeah, the good wide setup, but Cuba just shooting long.
So points to Brazil.
Again, Don, you see this camaraderie with the women's and men's volleyballers. Even when the team loses a point or loses their serve, there's hand claps all around nonetheless.
Oh, I think it's great. I think a lot of team sports could learn something from volleyball. They just they can't afford to get down on themselves at all because volleyball, as we've seen, is such a close concept. Very seldom does a team run away with it over another team unless the other team is far superior.
So Cuba starting to get on a roll and refine the form that puts them into the semi-finals. And there's one of the great characters of this tournament, the Brazilian coach. And believe you me, you would be lucky to see that man smile even if Brazil wins. Certain Brazil, it's long. Cuba back up forward to set up. Brazil with a tricky setup. Good spike. Well, they got down to a try to go into the dig. But that one came down far too fast from Costa.
Oh, a real power spike there from Costa.
That's Anna Connolly got the Brazilian just under the net before. Connolly going up for the dummy and blocked out by Cuba. And again, you see the support of the Cuban teammates, even when they do get a side out or lose a point. So that's Anna Moser to serve.
On the finals here, we're seeing a lot more power serves on both sides than you see in the women's competition earlier in the tournament.
Here it is again, and a good block from Cuba. And careful not to touch the net. Cubans now with a 4-point lead and they're on serve. The good reverse setup.
Well, the call was very simple. Coach doesn't agree with it. But the Brazilians touched the net when they went up for that double block.
Yep. Well, I don't think we need to interpret that.
Now there's a yellow card because she's complaining. Oh, the yellow card looks like it's against the coach.
It is. It is. Bernardo Rezende gets the yellow card for abusive language. And in fact, I think it doesn't matter what he said, he probably still would have got the card. Verbal abuse. So, apologies for the language, but this is coming to you live.
I think it would have been great, Andrew, if we had had the Russians playing the Brazilians.
I think their coach is in hospital right now. He's getting his heart worked on. Yeah, you rarely see as animated a coach as a volleyball coach. In fact, I think the Brazilian guys due for a shirt change. It's firing, and Cuba slammed that one down into empty space on the Brazilian side of the court. In fact, he's not doing his team any good as Cuba go out to a 13-8 lead in the second set. Picking up that yellow card is bound to be a distraction.
Well, what a contrast between the two coaches, where you have the Brazilian coach who's just fiery all over the place, and the Cuban coach very stoic, just sitting there watching. Looks like he's almost disinterested.
Oh, Cuba coming very close to touching the net there, and I think that one's gone long. Oh, good mid-court spike, but it's been blocked by Cuba. Ball still in play. Great dig. Oh, delicate play. Brazil still moving it about. They spike. Good block. But that was blocked out by Cuba, by Brazil, sorry.
It looked like it was blocked out. Boy, the big difference so far is the Cubans are sitting close to the net, and the Brazilians are sitting back about 5 or 10 feet almost every time. That's a little bit better, but still back a bit.
Well, Brazil had the right idea before, trying the mid-court spike. Usually catches your opponent by surprise, but you so rarely see it in women's volleyball. Anyway, side out to Brazil, and they're serving at 8-14. So, side out to Cuba, and that brings up set point. They're even. That's more like the Cuba we've come to know throughout this tournament, and they level at 1 set all.
Well, very interesting matchup here where...
Okay, that's it for the time being. We'll be back after this break. Stay with us. Pretty close to the heart of the city. And Brazil in the blue top in this women's volleyball semi-final level at the moment with Cuba, the reigning world and Olympic champion, at 1 set apiece. Been some great digs and spikes, and a yellow card for the Brazilian coach, who I guess you could call it an audible foul.
Well, definitely abusive language against the referee. He's going to have to watch it because one more time he can be kicked out of this match. And as crazy as he seems to us now and then, his charges really do need his advice on the timeouts. They need his help. And with him on the floor, without him on the floor, it'd be very difficult for Brazil to be able to come through and beat Cuba. So Cuba to serve, starts this third set.
So let's see if the Cubans are just warming up in that first set that they lost so disastrously to Brazil, 15-5. Bouncing back 15-8 to win the second. Best of 5 sets. Only a server can win the point, but if it goes to 5 sets, whoever wins that particular play wins the point. So it really speeds things up.
Well, excellent spike by Costa. She's back about 10 feet and hits the open space. And Brazil starting off the second set doing what they were not doing the third set, doing what they didn't do in the second. They're getting their set close to the net, giving them more opportunity to hit the open space. A long serve. The side out to Cuba.
good fast setup from Brazil. Well, you saw the net rattle there, but I think it was the fast play. I think it was actually the ball touching the net, not somebody's hand. So they get away with that one. That was a great dig. So Cuba gets the first point on the board in this third set. Good set up and a fumble from Cuba. That was a good fight. So Marcelino walks past at the end line. Serves for Brazil.
Off the block. We saw that ball go out, but that was side out to Cuba.
That's good. And blocked out by Cuba. That's Werner Diaz. He's a Brazilian in both volleyball and football. A little tricky when it comes to finding the names on the score sheet. Most of them use their first name as the player name. So Werner on the back, but it's actually Werner Diaz, number 10. Cuba still leading 1-0. Delicate play. Cuba reply with the wide spike. Good block. It's come back quickly. And that was always going to be a close call. Cuba claiming they didn't touch.
Well, it looked like both.
Yeah, let's see who did. Well, first it was Cuba, then it was Brazil. Both touched. Anyway, side out to Brazil. They serve. It's a short one. Nice. Dig. But finally, Brazil pick up the point. Powerful spike. And that must be side out.
Side out to Cuba.
He shouldn't have touched one of the Brazilians. Conning the Cubans there. They were expecting, even with a delicate shot, to at least make it to the mid-court area. Oh, and the spin on that. Just dropping it over the net. Catching Cuba by surprise. And that time Cuba shooting wide.
Well, Bell looked like she's apologizing for missing the spike, but she was going for a very tight angle and just hit it wide.
Blocked by Brazil. They've got to take it this time. Oh, clever play. And Cuba need more touch plays like that.
That was Ishiro there with Cuba that just touched it over.
And blocked out by Cuba. So side out to Brazil. That's Marcelino up at the net for the blue shirt for Cuba, rallying the troops. And back to serve is Anamosa. Oh, and it's long. Again, each server usually taking advantage of the dip, just trying to drop it in as close to that end line as possible. Which creates a pretty large margin for error. Good spike.
Well, there was a quick stat. No chance for Cuba to really set up their block. Oh, great play by the Brazilian. 2 blocks in a row in that rally. Cubans did well just to get the ball back in play after the first dig. Right out to Cuba. The Brazilians are really back on their game now in the third set. Second set, they almost fell asleep. Their spike has just improved tremendously, 100% in this third set. That was a great recovery set. Now it was Israel again for Cuba that set it back over there. Cuban coach not looking very happy though. Well, a little touch spike that time. Power spikes have not been working against the Brazilians. The Brazilians lead 4-1.
And Bernard Diaz getting some support from the teammates. He prepares to serve. That's an ace.
Boy, what a great serve. They've been missing so many serves, especially through the second set. That's got to be a big lift for them right there, 5-1.
Cuba do not want to let the Brazilians run away with this like they did in the first set. I think maybe they've come into this match, John, with a little too much of their own publicity buzzing around their head. And they have definitely been caught napping. And what a huge crowd of supporters for Brazil.
Oh, it's great to see. They just travel from all over the world, obviously, to come to the Olympics.
Oh, perfect. Just popping that one in the back right-hand corner. Yeah, Don, I swear I've seen familiar faces at the volleyball and the football and the basketball. I'm sure they travel around in an army these days. Just moving from venue to venue just to support Brazil. And it looks like they have all turned out for this match. Brazil leading 5-1.
Of course, different countries were able to receive blocks of tickets, and tickets from short countries from far away. Probably the same people, groups of people bought most of the blocks. Very expensive proposition, obviously.
Well, if you're from overseas, it was. If you live in the United States, of course, it was a little bit cheaper and easier to get tickets from seats at venues. That is, if the ACOG office believes that you're from the United States. We heard one story about a guy from New Mexico calling the ACOG or Atlanta organizing office tickets, saying, yeah, I'm from the United States. I'd like to buy tickets. And they said, certainly, sir. What state are you from? He said, well, I'm from New Mexico. And the ticket office said, I'm sorry, sir, that's not in the United States. We can't sell you tickets. So, they called in and demanded to speak to the supervisor. He promptly came to the phone and said, listen, pal, New Mexico, Old Mexico, I don't care. It's not part of the United States. And they hung up the phone, which, of course, when it hit the papers in Atlanta, proved a huge embarrassment. And I hope he ended up getting his tickets anyway, but certainly caused problems. Brazil leading 5-1. They're on serve. Don't show my goodness that was quick. You can barely see if that was inside or outside, and it's a side out.
There is an out. Another point for Cuba. Oh, no, side out.
Somebody touched the net.
Cuba's touched the net again.
Oh. Well, that's a minor disaster. And that's the mistake, the sort of mistake they do not need at this stage. So Brazil back on serve. Quick dummy. Great dig to get Brazil out of trouble. Oh.
That was a desperate fight in that place at Moser.
Well, it probably would have been better going for the setup, and I think the Brazilian coach agrees.
Well, he...
Again, Cuba catching Brazil off guard with that quick flick over the net, and he could have driven a truck through that gap on the Brazilian side of the court. Cuba, side out and serving. And a bit of fortune comes Brazil's way, blocked out by Cuba. They had two women up there at the net. They had it well covered, but not well angled. Good work by Brazil. Handling that pace pretty well. Now this is good blocking from both teams. And I think that was long. And that's another point to Brazil. 6-2.
Cuba claiming it was off the block.
Well, I think regular bell just clutching the scores there for Cuba. Blocked out by Brazil, I think. They were. There's Rosende again, the Brazilian coach. Maybe he'd be better off outside the auditorium, not watching. This match coming to you live from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta.
Sure, that was legal, but called legal by the ref.
Here comes the setup, one frame shot, power spike, good block. The spike again. I didn't see it. Yeah, Cuba coming away with that. That's Caraval. And Cuba get back on the board. 3-6. Good dig.
And again, Cuba with a good fight.
No Brazilian even got a finger to that. Down through the gap. Good strike. Oh yeah.
That's Tuna, Marta Tuna. She's the team leader for Brazil.
Yeah, one of their top point scorers. And a real on-court general for Brazil.
For Brazil up there with a triple block, and it still doesn't work. That was just powered between them and settled on their side.
Well, this is turning out to be a great confrontation. Both sides matching each other shot for shot. And Cuba slowly but surely clawing their way back to Brazil.
Side out. That's Tuna hitting the block, the spike long. That serve touched the net. So side out. That was a great serve. So another point for Brazil. Verna Tuna is the service. She's one that had the ace a few minutes ago. And there's another ace serve. She is serving fantastic.
That dip down so fast. Look at it again. Oh, the curl on that. I don't think they expected that to drop down so quickly. And Verna Diaz.
Well, she's the one they've been setting to, and she's the one that's been serving well.
Okay, so Brazil leading 8-5 in this third set. Stay with us. We'll be back after the break. If you've only recently joined us, we're watching one of two women's volleyball semi-finals. Cuba in the white tops on the left-hand side of the screen. playing Brazil. These two teams fighting for a place in the finals. China already through, and you can see in the third set, Brazil leading 9-6, and really upsetting the Cubans so far. They won the first set here. Cuba came back to win the second. Now Brazil leading the third. Yeah, an update on that other semi-finals. China's women defeating Russia 3-1.
Great block by the Brazilians. It looked like Cuba was going to catch them there with a quick set, but the Brazilians quickly set up their block. Great dig by the Cubans. Turns out to be a good set.
Oh, this is a good point. One dummy, but it's still in play. Good blocking by Cuba. They got up quick. Deceptive play. They stayed down. They had a Brazilian committing to the shot. By then it was too late. The block came up lightning fast. And that shot from... I think it was Anna Moser up at the net for Brazil. Oh, a bad serve, side out. The Cuban coach, a little less animated than the Brazilian coach, that's for sure. But at least he's not picking up yellow cards for abusive language.
Will they get it? Oh, back in play. Oh, but that's out.
Just long. Or was it?
Oh, maybe it was off the block.
Oh, it was too. One of the Cubans got a finger for that.
So, point to Brazil. What a great dig by the Brazilians on that. It looked like Cuba had already won the point. Now, I wish we could have seen that again. That was one of the best digs we've seen. Well, here we have it. She's way off to the side. Perfect set to Verna Kuna. Off the block. Goes out. Incredible. And she just touches